Greetings, peace and love, everybody. Happy fall equinox. Happy fall equinox. As you noticed, 13signsastrology.com did not do a fall equinox ritual, which was strategic on our part. But we didn't forget about the people, and that's why I'm putting out this video, because we're going to give out the fall equinox ritual here on this video, and also walk you through the energies of the fall equinox and exactly how to work with it. Now, first of all, let me explain to you what the fall equinox is for those people that may or may not know, because I know we have people out there, somebody out there is listening, whether it's a teenager or just somebody out there needs to know what the fall equinox is. My spirit's telling me that. So let me go ahead and break down the fall equinox. The fall equinox is basically the point where the days become shorter. The equinox basically means equal. So during the fall equinox, the days in the time of days or sunlight and the time of shadow hour, or what's called the absence of light, are equal. So you may have 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of shadow hour. This is the fall equinox, or this is the equinox, when the days and nights are equal. But after that day, days begin to get shorter and shorter and shorter, up until what's called the winter solstice. So the fall equinox deals with balance. It deals with balance. The fall equinox, according to 13 signs astrology, happens during the time of Virgo. Happens during the time of Virgo, and normally, well, usually all the time. I mean, it's always during this time of year, around the 22nd. It happens during Virgo, and it's interesting to point that out because Virgo deals with balance. According to 13 signs astrology, we deal with Virgo from a perspective of what's called Ma'at, and a principle of Ma'at. And for those of you that don't know what Ma'at is, some people call it Maat. But Ma'at is a principle that was dealt with by the ancient Egyptians. And Ma'at is the deity that judges your soul in the Hall of Records during the time of your death and your transformation. And Ma'at was known as the deity that weighed the soul against the feather. And your soul was weighed against the feather to see as to whether or not your soul was heavier than the feather. Because as I always say, that it's all about becoming light. It's all about levity. You have to let go. So Ma'at judges as to whether or not how attached you were, or how heavy you were, how attached you are to the physical realm. So this is what Ma'at deals with. Ma'at deals with balance. But Ma'at also deals with, which is the other side of the principle. See, everybody wants to deal with one side of it, but Ma'at also deals with the material, or the matter. So Ma'at is very much concerned with the air principle, as well as the earth principle. So according to 13 signs astrology, we break down Ma'at, and we break down Virgo in a sense of Virgo being one aspect of Ma'at and Libra being the other aspect of it, because Libra represents the scales of Ma'at. And when you look at the constellation of Virgo and the cosmos, see, at one time the ancients, when they taught about the constellation of Virgo, they taught that the scales that Virgo was holding was the scales of Ma'at, and the holder of the scales is Ma'at. So you can look at it like this. A lot of people that are into Western astrology, they look at Libra as Ma'at, which is true. Libra is a part of Ma'at energy, but Libra is just the scales, and Ma'at is a physical person, a female, a woman, and this is who the Virgin really is. See, they talk about Virgo, the Virgin, but nobody tells you who the Virgin really is. They talk about the bread that she's holding, and it's a woman, a virtuous woman, but nobody talks about who she is. And virtue is based on balance. It's based on balance. You have to be balanced. You have to balance the material with the spiritual. See, a lot of people, they are spiritual, but they neglect the material. They run from things. They run from responsibilities of the earthly realm. But we are material beings. We're having this experience for a reason, as I always say. So you must honor the material, the mundane, the earthly. Money. See, a lot of conscious people, they're like, we don't need money. All we need is just us all to work together, and we can barter and exchange and stuff like that. But until that happens, you need money to survive, and you're going to need things. You're going to need money to even introduce another system. Say, for instance, you wanted to introduce a big bartering system. Well, if you want to introduce a big bartering system, you need what? Resources to barter with. So if you don't have no resources to barter with, you can't introduce a bartering system. Say, for instance, you entered a bartering system today. What would you have to offer to barter? So this is dealing with material possessions. So it's not about people getting caught up on money with dead presidents on them, with dead European presidents on them. Let me point that out. It's not about that. It's not about that. I'm not saying get caught up on money from a sense of paper. I know they're fiat notes, but it's about the material. And this is what Maat deals with. And money equals material, getting to things. Money, in this time in the Matrix, money gets you things. So this is why money plays a role and is important. But possessions in general, Maat deals with the material as well as the spiritual, because some people are materialistic and they got that on lock. They pay their bills on time. I mean, you know those people, they go to work and they make it on time every day to work. They got their savings for a rainy day. And then they're saying that they're saving for a rainy day, right? And then what happens? That rainy day comes because they're saving for that rainy day, and they're creating that rainy day in their mind. They're creating that day, and that rainy day comes. Now, in a lot of my consultations, I tell people that you can have an emergency fund, but in reality, you really shouldn't name it an emergency fund. Like, I mean, I say that for the sense of relating to a person that's on like a mundane level, but really, you shouldn't call it like an emergency fund. You know what I'm saying? Because that's basically creating a situation where an emergency is going to happen. So you have to learn how to work the mind and the mental sciences as well, which is going into Virgo and Maat as well, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is depicted as Tahuti, according to the Egyptian Kemetic astrology. Virgo is Tahuti. And as you know, Tahuti was the scribe in the halls of Maat that wrote down your deeds. So Tahuti and Maat work together. Tahuti and Maat work together. Yeah. Some say they were married. That was one of his counterparts. So dealing with all of that, saying all that to say that we're in that time now of balance. So it's a time for you to look at your life and to see where you imbalanced at. What areas of your life can you stand to balance yourself out at? What areas of life? What areas of your life are totally imbalanced? Are you imbalanced when it comes to your health? Are you overweight? See, being overweight is a sign of being imbalanced. Being overweight metaphysically means that you're holding on to things. This is what causes one to become overweight. You're holding on to stuff. And the more you hold on to things, it causes you to expand. Sometimes holding on to things is good, but you got to know when to let go. You got to learn how to be a scientist and do things to get an outcome versus doing things for the emotional high. See, a scientist does things for the outcome to get to a certain point, not just for the emotional high. That most people do things for the emotional high, so people eat for an emotional high, and they expand and they get big. And this is where obesity comes from. So that's an imbalance. You have to look at your life and see where are you balanced at and where are you imbalanced at. Some people are imbalanced when it comes to recreation. They have too much fun. Some people are imbalanced when it comes to lack of recreation. They don't have enough fun. So what is lacking in your life? And whatever is lacking in your life, guess what? It's not, you don't have to get religious with this thing. See, I know like a lot of people, like they go to the churches and they listen to Creflo Dollar and Eddie Long and they say, well, you just need Jesus. That's why you're depressed. No, you're depressed because you're imbalanced. You see, everything goes back to Maat. Maat deals with balance and the scales. So you see, the scales are deep. Virgo and Libra is some deep energy, and the scales deal with balance, you see. So you have to be balanced. Everything in your life, if something's thrown off your life, it's because it's imbalanced. That's all it is. It's imbalanced. That's it. If your money's thrown off, it means you're spending too much, which is an imbalance. If your financial situation's thrown off. So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. If you're not making enough money, see, people don't realize this too. If you're not making enough money, that's because of an imbalance. That means you need to put out more. You need to put out more. See, the more you give, the more you get. The more you put out, the more you get back. When I say put out, it's not always about giving money out to homeless people and bums, which is an aspect of it. But sometimes putting out is putting out more creations, putting out more energy so that it'll come back to you. See, everything you put out has to come back to you. That's a law that they don't want you to know about. They meaning, you know, those particular ET beings that control this whole matrix and grid. They don't want you to know about that. The law of being putting out. See, a lot of people that get, and they get like on a big level, on a mass level, these people have a lot of responsibilities. Like what separates, let's say, a millionaire from a person that works a job every day is a millionaire probably has way more responsibilities to keep up on. So you have to ask yourself, do you want the responsibilities of a millionaire? A millionaire has to keep up on their money, their investments. They have to keep up on their cash flow, like their money that's coming in on a day-to-day basis. A millionaire has to keep up on their spending, like what they're spending their money on. They have to keep up on just a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Like being a millionaire, it takes more brain power to do something like that. So that's basically what it comes down to. I mean, you have to decide what you want, and whatever you want, you have to decide how to work the scale so that you can get it, because you have to always stay in a state of balance or in a state of the middle. So the best way to stay balanced is always to stay in the state of the observer. And when you stay in the state of the observer, you live in what's called the now. And when you live in what's called the now, you only act on things if it's demanded upon you right now. You can't really worry about the future. You can't worry about the future. You can only worry about right now. So a lot of people are like, well, how am I going to make the shift? How am I going to get through this and get through that when I got to work this job and I can't really save up enough money to make it here and there and this, that, and the third? Do you have enough money to make it now? If you do, then do what you have to do to go to the next level. But live in a state of now. Don't worry about tomorrow, because when you do that, you block yourself off from things that could come at you right now. So you have to keep an open mind. You have to keep an open mind. So, and that's what really being balanced is all about. The more of an open mind you have, the more balanced you are. And that's what the fall equinox energy is about. It's about being balanced. Now, many people did the spring equinox ritual with me, which is the opposite end of the pole. And I need to bring it up here. Now, if you did the spring equinox ritual and you're watching this video, you were instructed to write down a list of goals that you wanted to see happen. And I pointed out that you were going to have to revisit these goals during the fall equinox ritual. Well, guess what? It's that time. So go look at the goals that you wrote down, or some people put them in their memory. If you have them in your memory, cool. But go back and revisit the things that you wrote down and ask yourself, first look at which goals manifested, because some things may have manifested for you. And then ask yourself, where are you at with everything now? So you have to weigh out, did you get the things that you wrote down? If you didn't, why? What happened? You can say, well, the ritual didn't work. No, sometimes it wasn't the ritual. Maybe it was the inner. Maybe you blocked yourself. Maybe you put out intentions and then you worked against yourself and maybe you didn't revisit and you didn't remember and put to memory and commit to memory the goals that you wrote down from the spring equinox ritual. So go back and revisit those goals and look at your life now and ask yourself, are you close to it? And if you're not, it's still not too late, because this is why I didn't do a fall equinox ritual, because during the fall season, fall means to fall. So during this time, it's not good to plant seeds. It's a good time to harvest. You reap. You right now, really, essentially, you're getting back what you put out during the spring equinox ritual and the summer solstice, and all that energy that you put out. Everybody that participates in the spring equinox and summer solstice is supposed to be getting all that back during the fall. And any type of negative energy that you may have put out, you're getting that back too. You're getting that back too. And I'm speaking to myself as well. So right now, you're basically reaping what you sowed. You know what I'm saying? You're reaping what you sow. So this is the season of harvest. Virgo deals with bread or harvest. So that's why I didn't put together a ritual. It was strategic. And a lot of people was emailing me like, oh, you slipping. You didn't put together a ritual. So you don't understand a lot of moves I made, because a lot of people, they aren't in tune with the spiritual realm that they're not really on the spiritual level that I'm on, like the way that I make my decisions. See, like people that really know me personally, they know that I don't make my decisions the way most people make their decisions. Like, I mean, it's kind of weird, but I consult the oracles and the angels and my guides on just about everything. Sometimes I even get conflicting information from different oracles and things like that. But I know that's only because when you're consulting the oracles and your guides and your angels, you're essentially consulting yourself. And when you consult them and then you go against it and do the opposite, and you come back and consult them, they're going to tell you something different. Or if you consult them and then you don't believe what they told you, and then you go back and consult them again, they may tell you something different. And I'm pointing this out for a reason, because a lot of people, they work with pendulums and they work with different oracles, and they wonder why the oracle doesn't give them consistent information. Sometimes it's because you're doubting even yourself. You're channeling your own energy when you do that. So you work with a pendulum or any type of an oracle, cards or anything, and you keep consulting about the same thing over and over again, you might get a different outcome. Like, you might get a different answer. So you want to trust it with the first time, whatever energy you get, trust in that and work with that energy, and then maybe come back once you work with that energy after a while and see what's going on with it later. So a lot of times, like, I would go against myself or whatever, and pretty much like I would basically consult the oracle and then turn around and consult the oracle about the same exact thing. So you really don't want to do that. But right now, it's definitely a time to get what you got coming back, and to still work on those things that you didn't see manifest in your life. If you did the spring equinox ritual and you like, it's just not going right for me, or if you did some type of ritual at the beginning of 2012, this is a good time to revisit all the seeds that you planted, and kind of and I hope you didn't do a ritual at the beginning of 2012. I really I really hope you didn't, because that's not a good time to do like a ritual because of the time of the year. It's sad that they have New Year's during the time of year when everything's dead in North America. Like they have New Year in England too. Like they have New Year's during the time where everything's dead. There's nothing living during that time. That's what New Year's is. It doesn't make any sense. But that's not a good time to do rituals because nothing's living. So the same thing with now. Everything's falling. Like we're going into the fall season. So it's not a good time to do a ritual of planting a seed, but it's a good time to fulfill those things that you always wanted. Those things that you always wanted. And it's a good time to bring balance to your life. Now, what you want to do is for this ritual tonight, you want to set up your altar with amethyst stones, as many amethyst stones as you have. Amethyst, rose quartz, and any blue stones that you have, like any type of blue stones that you have. So the amethyst, the rose quartz, and any blue stones that you have, you want to fill your altar up with that. You know, you want to decorate it however you want to decorate it. I'm not going to get too picky here. You use your own creativity and your own imagination. Now, if you want to know how to build an altar, I have a video I did way back called The New Moon, probably one of my first videos, and I tell you how to build an altar. So I'm not going to go over that here, but you want to build your altar. You want to get candles. You want to get some candles. You want to get green candles. You want to get yellow candles. You want to get orange candles. And you want to get red candles. You want to get those 3 types of candles, and you want to get white candles as well. You want to get white candles as well. And what you want to do is that you want to strategically decorate your altar. You want to get one of each. So you want to get one of the green, one of the yellow, one of the orange, and one white. And one white. And you want and one red. So that's 5 altogether. So you want to get 5 candles, decorate your altar with those colors, and your crystals and everything, have that set up. You go ahead and burn your candles. You want to do your meditation. And you can do this anytime. Like if you're watching this video, you can do this anytime, like basically for the rest of this month. You can pretty much do this for the rest of this month. We're in the fall season, so you want to just do your meditation and just reflect on the things that are imbalanced in your life. First, do your meditation, get into a meditative state. But in this meditation, you want to reflect on your life. Like this is not a non-thinking meditation. This is kind of like a thinking meditation. So this is more of a contemplation. Let's call it that. This is more of a contemplation. This isn't really a meditation. So you're at your altar and you're contemplating. And you can be on your knees. You can be sitting, you know, like in an Indian style type of position. However you want to do it. But you're sitting at your altar and you're contemplating on what's imbalanced in your life. This is a good time to find out the things that are thrown off. Like what's going on. Like, okay, say for instance, you're in debt. Well, if you're in debt, guess what? You're having an imbalance with money. Something's imbalanced when it comes to your financial situation. No matter what it is, it goes back to an imbalance. If it's relationships, it's something imbalanced in that. Like if you're having relationship problems, you like some people feel like, especially women, they feel like they're giving too much. If you feel like you're giving him too much, then that creates an imbalance, which means you want. So then you feel like you feel the need to want to cheat or something like that because you feel like you're giving too much. That's the imbalance. So then that's why you want to cheat. You want to cheat not because you're a whore. You want to cheat because you want to feel like you're getting something back. You want to treat yourself. See how imbalances create friction? Like even in relationships, so you want to address the imbalance. What is it? Is it just the fact that you're giving too much? Maybe you don't need to cheat. Maybe you need to address the fact that you're giving too much. So that's one level to it. See what I'm saying? Like no matter what it is, it's an imbalance. If you're always too tired, and you're always sluggish, that means you're probably eating the wrong foods. You're eating too much. You're probably having too much sex, improper sex. Keep in mind improper sex, because good sex should invigorate you and make you and give you energy. It should energize you if you partake in proper sex. But you're probably partaking in improper sex. If you're eating you're eating the wrong foods, you're sluggish. You're taking over-the-counter drugs. You're taking prescription drugs, and you're taking illegal drugs probably even. That's why you're tired. So question, what is imbalanced in your life? Something's making you like that. Something's making you sluggish. So no matter what it is, there's something making you like that. And this is not me on the soapbox judging you. I'm saying, okay, find out what that is, and now is the time to fix that. See, this is the time. See, that's the good thing about being into astrology and being into a lot of new age sciences, is that you learn about timing. You see, like you learn about timing. Like there's a time to do everything. And astrology, like even in the Bible, it tells you there's a time to sow, there's a time to reap. Well, what dictates that time? See, they don't tell you what dictates that time, but then Christians want to get into the fact of telling you that there's a time to sow and there's a time to reap. But what dictates that time? You know what dictates that time? Astrology. And the Christians don't want to talk about that. The time to sow and the time to reap is dictated by astrology. This is the time to reap. The time to sow is during the spring when you plant things. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. You got to know about astrology to know when to do those things, so you can know what degree the sun is in, which is astrology or solar biology. So All of this stuff goes back to astrology, and it's like a lot of the people that are in religions, they're scared to do rituals, they're scared to partake in this stuff. But this is what we did before religion, y'all. Like before there was a religion, we worked rituals. This was our way of life, and this is why we were more successful as humans before religion. See, humans were more successful before religion when they were working rituals, because they were honoring the earth, they were giving back. See, like the earth functions on different levels. It's different dimensions to the earth. So you have to give back physically on a third dimensional level, but then you have to get back on a spiritual level too. And when you work rituals, you're giving back on a spiritual level. This is why the beings and the ancestors respond to you when you make offerings, you work rituals, because you're giving back. You're giving back of your energy. So you got to know when to do a thing, how to do a thing, and what time to do a thing. So you can do this ritual as far as the timing, like when to meditate at your altar. A good time to do it is usually around noon. Actually, it's a good time to do it. You should do this around noon, like every day around noon. You could do it, like I said, for the rest of this month. You can do it every day. Just reflect. Use this time to reflect. It's a perfect time to fix all the problems in your life. Like now is the time to do that. Now is the time to do that. So hope you follow through. Look back at your spring equinox ritual again. Those people that partook in the spring equinox ritual, look back at that. Look back at that. And I want you to look at, you know what I'm saying, did you get the things that you asked for? And why? If you didn't, why? And if you did, why? And what are you doing with it now? Based on what you got, if you did get it, or like what are you doing now? So you have to keep working. Like when you work rituals, that's why it's called working a ritual, because you have to keep working. You see a lot of people, they want to work hard. Sometimes it's not about working hard, it's about working rituals. And I'm going to leave you with that. So for those people that say you don't get free information on this channel, here you have it again. 13 Signs Astrology. We're doing the free the free fall equinox ritual. It's dealing with my energy. So let me throw this in here too before we shut this video down. You want to get a picture of my eye? Go online. If you can't afford to get a statue of my eye, you can get a statue of my eye if you can afford that, and put that on your altar. Because you definitely need my energy. Or if you can't do that, get a picture of my eye. Hang that up. Get your crystals and decorate that, and just chill out and keep your altar set up for as long as you can, man. And just chill out for the rest of these few, and just enjoy the rest of this fall equinox. Like just enjoy the rest of it. It's a good time. This is a beautiful time to reflect. Like just a beautiful time to get out in nature, right before things start dying and getting cold again, and the winter season's coming in. So it's just a good time to reflect and to attract. So keep working on the things that you asked for this year. Like don't work on new goals. Like everybody want to keep doing new rituals, new goals. Work on the things that you already worked on and asked for. And it's a good time to cleanse. I'll mention that too. So I have a spiritual cleanse on my website as well for those people that are interested in that. But it's a good time to do a cleanse. A really good time to do it. A really good spiritual cleanse during this time as well. So timing is everything. Timing is everything. You'll be surprised. It can really renew you during this time. So definitely a time of transition. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. And until we meet again, I'll leave you all in. Peace.